We're coming into the Great Awakening, the times of Mashiach, the times of the Messiah. Nothing can stop what's coming. Where we go one, we go all. No one's going to be left behind. We'll have med beds. We'll have unlimited prosperity. We'll have all the resources, the quantum resources. The technology that we're about to come into is going to be beyond anything that we can imagine. So too, what I'm getting in the Intel channels, I heard from 107 that we have had 80% of the people in America have been awake for 3 weeks, if you want to put a quantity to it. Also, SG Anon came out and said that the whole operation of taking down the bad boys will take about 4 hours. If you're still sitting here waiting, when is the EBS? When is the 10 days of darkness? When is the internet going to be switched to a quantum financial system internet? I think it already has been. I mean, I'm noticing on I just moved, so it could be that I moved, but my computer is behaving completely differently. I think we're already in the Starlink system. I think things have already been switched. I think the bad boys have all been taken down, and we'll move forward into the greatest imaginable age, into the Great Awakening, into the age of Mashiach, of the Messiah, where the lamb and the lion will eat together. It's going to be amazing, the technologies that will be coming forth in one fell swoop. This will kick off Jasara. It will mean that we'll have to have a reselection process in 120 days. It will mean the existing POTUS, the existing president, will remain in place, Mr. T, and he will rule until we have a government, which I believe will be 10% of the size it is now. So we have a lot of incredible things to look forward to here. A quantum age, quantum finances, the end of this fiat bank robbing currency. It doesn't mean you're going to lose everything you have. Everything, from my understanding, is that the quantum financial system has your 401k, and it has everything of yours in hand. It knows exactly what you have and what you will be getting. And you will be getting a lot, because all the funds, all the money, all the resources that have been stolen from the human beings on the planet by these, I don't know what you want to call them, the reptilians, the Orions, the deep state, the Illuminati. There are many different names for these people. The serpent people, they got into our DNA in the Garden of Eden. These are the same bad boys who have been putting us into debt slavery, into education slavery, into medical slavery. These forces are being removed. And if they're telling us, if SG Anon is telling us, and 107 is saying that, it's all about to happen, that means to me it's already happened. They're already probably in Gitmo. They've already probably done what they need to do. When will the taped confessions come out? It doesn't matter.
What is going on out there, peeps? All right. I got sent again another one of these videos, and without looking like I'm picking on people all the time, here's my thing. To each their own. Whatever people want to say, whatever people want to believe, that's on them. What I'm saying to you is just use common sense. I mean, there are people out there who listen to individuals like that gentleman there. He's got the whole litany of everything. He's got religion in there. He's got the reptilian race in there. He's got the whole Q thing in there. He's got the whole 107 and the QAnon stuff. He's got the whole litany of everything all in one broadcast. You got the Nasera, Jasera, you name it. It's all in there. It's all in there. And I've had this argument recently a lot with people telling me that I've given up faith, and I used to be supportive of Nasera, Jasera. I said, look, I still support it. Don't get me wrong. You guys are misunderstanding what I'm saying. I just don't like all the hokey pokey crap that goes along with it. But if that's what you like, more power to you. I'm not a big fan of it. Anybody who's ever watched me do my Nasera, Jasera videos, I don't do the same thing as these other people. I don't go around talking about how the white hats are in charge and that we're, watching clones and We're eating popcorn, and I don't do all that crap. It's just BS. It's a lie. They're misleading people. One of the things that I still hear so much about is that Trump is the president. I hear that all the time. And that the white hats are in charge. There's no proof of this whatsoever. None at all. There's a bunch of people on YouTube and other platforms blowing smoke up people's asses about who's in charge and who's not, without any evidence whatsoever. The funny thing is, people just fall for it. And when you say, where's your proof? They always say, well, it just has to play out. They're behind the scenes. I actually heard a video of Charlie the other day going, well, let me tell you what's going on behind the scenes. And no, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. He has no access to any of the people he's talking about. He's full of crap. So the argument went back and forth about Trump still being president. He's not the president. I could tell you right now, he's not the president. And the fact that people keep saying the white hats are in charge, despite overwhelming evidence that there's no white hats in charge, just based on all the things that are going on around the world. All you got to do is take a look at how aggressive the World Economic Forum's Great Reset has been around the world. They continue to grow. They continue to take over governments, whether it's legitimately or not. They're continuing to work on depopulating the earth. They're continuing to break people financially as they force you into the central bank digital currency. I could prove all that stuff. That's the thing. I'm trying to bring awareness to this stuff. And you got a bunch of other people out there blowing smoke up people's butt, misleading them into believing that there's nothing to worry about, to sit there and do nothing. When they tell you to sit back and do nothing, those aren't the people you want to listen to. Not spreading misinformation like that, you guys. It's just a crock, okay? I know people want to believe what they're saying so bad. They do. They go crazy. I've had arguments with my own listeners telling me that, oh man, it's real that you're misleading people, Pimpy. Have faith, have faith. Oh, I have faith, but it's not going to be in what these YouTubers say. My faith is in God, not Trump, not Q, not these idiots on YouTube. If God thinks that Trump's supposed to be the person to bring us to the promised land, then it's going to happen, people. Just hang tight then, all right? But don't sit there and do nothing. While you're doing nothing, there's crap happening around the world right now it's just hard to believe in my lifetime. I'm witnessing all of it happen. Since the 90s, I've been talking about this New World Order or the Illuminati or whatever you want to call them, depopulating the earth, taking over governments, forcing us into a one world government, forcing us into a one world currency. But I never thought in my lifetime that I'd actually experience it. And now it's happening now in real time. And people should be more focused on that. Before we get started though, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel and I certainly do appreciate it. You should be thinking about buying gold and silver. It's what you need to be outside of the system. When you go to buy your gold and silver, go to our friends over at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. If you are a first-time buyer and you're thinking about buying gold and silver and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you will get an additional ½ ounce of silver with your order. The news cycle changed so much, and this is by plan. It's a strategy that people forget. We need accountability. Going all the way back to when Trump was first running. Where's the accountability for this group of people attempting a coup against a sitting president? This guy lied under oath, James Clapper, when he said that the NAS or CIA was not collecting data on American citizens. He lied. Nothing happened to him. James Comey for lying. Any of these people for lying, planting evidence, faking evidence to have Trump removed out of office. They lied, and nothing happened to the people. As a matter of fact, we don't even talk about them anymore at all. Isn't that crazy how that happens? What about John Brenner? This is Obama's appointee, a registered communist, to be the director of our intelligence. He lied. Nothing happened to him. Look at this. This is recent, you guys. I'm not even kidding. This picture, after these guys did some kind of conference 2-3 weeks ago. You have Barr, Rosenstein, and Jeff Sessions. All of these people just sitting there laughing their asses off. Jeff Sessions was supposed to be going after the FBI, and Rod Rothstein was the one that took over, and he did nothing. Bill Barr remember when you guys heard this? Bill Barr is a white hat. He's going to come in and save us all. Remember this? Jeff Sessions was a white hat. He's going to save us all. Rod Rosenstein, he turned on the bad people. He's now a white hat. Remember all those stories? And here they are laughing. Every one of them free. Every one of them doing their part to keep the truth from coming out. We had our own intelligence agencies attempting to falsify evidence to remove a president. Did anything happen to him? No, look at them all sitting there smiling and everything. Whatever happened to the Trump's in charge? Whatever happened to the White Hats are in charge? What are you going to tell me? That is still playing out? Is that what it is? It's according to the plans, right? Is that what you're going to say? It's all part of the plans, Pimpy. The White Hats are in charge. Isn't that what you want to say? Okay. By the time these guys ever get any justice to them, they'll be dead from old age. How about this guy, Christopher Steele? Nobody talks about him anymore. I just watched him give a speech, and to his credit, I'm going to say something. Christopher Steele, I watched him do a Q&A in a conference, and he told everybody what happened, that he had gotten this information, and it was another Republican, John McCain, that told him to give him the information so he could leak it to the media. And that's not a secret anymore. John McCain told everybody he did it. As a matter of fact, Lindsey Graham said he told John McCain to leak it to the press. This whole fake dossier thing. But here's the interesting part. Christopher Steele said he had submitted this information to our intelligence agencies, informing them that that had not been verified, but that they should be aware of it. He was the one that said then John McCain got his hands on the information and leaked it to the press, and all hell broke loose. Christopher Steele said he was horrified. He could not believe what just happened. The information was not validated. He even stated it was not validated, but thought they should be aware of it and look into it. They didn't look into it. They just leaked it immediately to try to smear Trump. So Christopher Steele said he had to go in hiding to get his thoughts together, to figure out how the hell he's going to handle this, because he got screwed over by our own intelligence agencies and by our own politicians who were more eager to go after Trump and smear him and try to get him removed out of office than they were to validate the information. So to his credit, he at least came out and admitted his part, but he also gave a whole different side to the story, and that is the information he gave was not meant to go out to the public. So if the White Hats are in charge, right, then explain to me how it is that we still have over 400 people who attended the rally on January the 6th still in prison. These people are locked in confinement. They're being tortured, come to find out. Their right to a speedy trial has been denied. They're being attacked by police officers. One lady came out and said her husband gets maced regularly as a form of torture. But nobody's doing anything about them. The media doesn't talk about them. No politicians are doing very much to try to get these people out of jail. You'll hear them talk about it every blue moon, but I guess that's all part of the plan, right? The torturing of American citizens, people who are supporters of Trump. I guess that's all part of the plan. That's what you're going to tell me? Before I continue, though, just a quick reminder. If you've not seen this movie yet, I encourage you to see it. This right here will blow your mind. There is so much information on this documentary that people need to watch. It's horrifying. And I'm glad that more and more of these types of films are coming out, exposing the truth. Anyways, the video is free to watch. I will leave the link down below in the description. I encourage you guys to go over there and watch it. Feel free to share the link for others to watch as well, okay? So here's my thing. 45 and the White Hats are truly in charge. Then why are all these things happening everywhere? Remember when they said, well, Trump got in office and he took this world tour. He took control of the kingdom from England, and he took control from Saudi Arabia, the king, because he did the sword dance. Despite the fact that multiple people have done the sword dance. Well, somebody said to me, well, he didn't get the king's sword. That means something. But there have been many leaders, including King Charles, George Bush, done the sword dance. So it's not anything unique. But nothing changed. No, he didn't go over and take charge of all the banks. No, he didn't take over Saudi Arabia. No, he didn't take over Britain. None of that. All that was just a lie. Because if he was truly in charge of all these things around the world, why would these things be happening? Dutch government forcing 600 farmers to sell their land to the state, adding to the already stressful food situation around the world. Why do they want the farmers' land? Because they want to build housing on there. Yes, for all their new refugees. So that's the issue that's contributing to food shortages around the world. In addition to the fact that, well, Bill Gates is now the world's largest owner of farmland. Why? Look at this. Bill Gates called out by farmers for secretly buying up U.S. farmlands. I don't want him to control a single acre. And now they're complaining that we have food shortages coming. And he's not grown a damn thing on these farms. Nothing's being grown on any of his farms. Remember, this is a guy from the World Economic Forum. So he's part of this great reset. And they're trying to force us to eat bugs. I'm not even kidding. You got to look into this thing. So they're saying that it's because of climate control that we're having food shortages, when this idiot is buying up all the farmlands and not even growing anything on it. And you have the Dutch government taking over farmlands. You have these guys euthanizing livestock everywhere, killing hundreds of millions of chickens, turkeys, ducks, cattle, claiming that they have some kind of disease that's new. Okay, so they're contributing to, this is all contributing to the food shortages. Meanwhile, though, one world government comes into play. You have the European Union is expanding. I thought they were going to break up. Once they did the Brexit and they left, I thought for sure Spain would follow them, along with a handful of other countries. But now they're talking about a bigger European Union. Just continue to try to put everybody under one government. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the European Union, it's not a country. It's a group of countries all belonging to a group of unelected officials who tell them what they can and can't do and create the laws for these countries. Let me play a little bit of this video so you can get an idea how this works.
Where is the European Union? Obviously here somewhere, but much like the European continent itself, which has an unclear boundary, the European Union also has some fuzzy edges to it. To start, the official members of the European Union are, in decreasing order of population, Germany, France, the United Kingdom, Italy, Spain, Poland, Romania, the Kingdom of the Netherlands, Greece, Belgium, Portugal, the Czech Republic, Hungary, Sweden, Austria, Bulgaria, Denmark, Slovakia, Finland, Ireland, Croatia, Lithuania, Latvia, Slovenia, Estonia, Cyprus, Luxembourg, and Malta. The edges of the EU will probably continue to expand further out, as there are other countries in various stages of trying to become a member. How the EU works is hideously complicated and a story for another time, but for this video you need know only 3 things. First, countries pay membership dues, and second, vote on the laws they all must follow, and third, citizens of member countries are automatically European Union citizens as well. This last means that if you're a citizen of any of these countries, you are free to live and work and retire in any of the others, which is nice, especially if you think your country is too big or too small or too hot or too cold. The European Union gives you options. By the way, did you notice how all 3 of these statements have asterisks attached to this unhelpful footnote? Well, get used to it. Europe loves asterisks that add exceptions to complicated agreements. These 3, for example, point us towards the first bit of border fuzziness with Norway, Iceland, and Little Liechtenstein, none of which are in the European Union, but if you're an EU citizen, you can live in these countries, and Norwegians, Icelanders, or Liechtensteiners can live in yours. Why? In exchange for freedom of movement of people, they have to pay membership fees to the European Union, even though they aren't a part of it, and thus don't get a say in its laws that they still have to follow.
So all of these countries pay fees, like union fees. These are taxpayer dollars they pay just to belong to the European Union. And not everybody has a say-so. See, right here it says, now we're going to make rules you must follow. Yes, the European Union makes the rules and the countries do vote on them, not the citizens. The representatives they send over to represent the countries in the European Union, which means the citizens have no say-so. You have these non-elected bureaucrats over there deciding what laws should be implemented without the citizens having a say-so. So that is becoming a one-world government. López Obrador is threatening Mexico's democracy. It's time for Biden to break his silence. How's he threatening democracy? He says, now that the U.S. midterms are over and once the final results are in, President Biden will face fewer electoral pressures. It's time for the U.S. government to break its silence about the dangerous threat to democracy in Mexico. Why the hell is the United States interfering in other countries' business? You know, they want to lecture people about interfering over here in our business, but they do a phenomenal job of interfering in other people's business. Mexico's populist president has announced plans to dismantle his country's highly respected National Electoral Institute, or INE. The Independent Electoral Monitoring Agency was the key to Mexico's transition to democracy back in 2000 after more than 7 decades of one-party rule, as has remained a guarantee of free and fair elections. Lopez is finding out, like our institutions over here are being corrupted. And so he's thinking about dismantling these corrupt institutions. If Trump was in charge, why would he even allow this type of media to come out? Federal judge finds that Trump lied under oath about voter fraud in Georgia while trying to overturn the 2020 election results. If the white hats are in charge, why is there a judge making these types of comments? The Supreme Court gutted our Miranda rights. Here's what that means. This action took place without a whole lot of people talking about it. Anyways, all these stories independently, I'll go over in more detail later on. I'm just trying to make a point. If the white hats were in charge, why would they allow the Supreme Court to gut our Miranda rights? Biden's DOJ asked for more than $34 million to continue the January 6th investigation. If the white hats were in charge, why would they allow this investigation to continue instead of wasting taxpayer dollars? 458 rioters have pled guilty for their role in the Capitol's insurrection so far. This table is tracking them all. First of all, not a single person has been charged with insurrection. Not one. The media keeps trying to mislead people into believing that there was an insurrection. I was there on January 6th. There was no insurrection. But if the white hats were in charge, why are they allowing the media to lie over and over? And we've seen so many lies from the media. It makes it hard to trust any of the news that's coming out. So if the white hats were in charge, why didn't they fix the media? And for the record, if you go and look at all these arrests and what they plead guilty for, trespassing, vandalism, the vast majority of them, that's what it is. Still believe in democracy? Voting for Arizona Democrats is the only way to fight back. So if the white hats are in charge, why would they allow this type of headlines to go out? Doesn't make no sense. Fetterman's wife calls swimming in America very racist. Okay, so again, if the white hats were in charge, how did they allow this guy to win? Americans who aren't sure about God are a fast-growing force in politics. Yeah, God is being removed little by little because that's what communist nations do. They remove God. You got to go look into it. They want the people to worship those in charge of the government. That's what they do in China. That's what they do in other communist countries. Remove God and place themselves as God. And they're typically even more politically active than white evangelicals. But definitely when it comes to God being removed from this country, that's one thing I think that's happening. I did like the fact that the 17-letter movement was bringing people back to God. But I think since the 17-letter movement was such a failure, and now you got people, exaggerating and lying about it, that people have lost their faith again. And that's sad, unfortunately. And another major contributor to people who aren't sure about God anymore has a lot to do with these sellouts, these church leaders. So you can understand when I always hear people say, oh, Trump's still in charge, the white hats are in charge, it's all part of God's plan. Well, I do believe everything is part of God's plan. I don't have a doubt about it. But whether this is part of God's plan or not remains to be seen. Right now, it seems to me that there's a lot of very powerful people trying to remove God out of this country. Also, if the white hats are in charge, why are there so many oil refineries around the world catching fire? Why are there so many food processing plants catching fire? Why are there so many lumberyards catching fire around the world? I mean, is that what they're doing? Is that their plan? Is they're burning these things down? That's all part of their bigger plan? Is that what you're going to try to tell me? If the white hats were in charge and Trump was really ruling the world, like people are saying, how is it that they allow Bolsonaro to lose? Seriously. And guess what he's protesting? A rigged election. And look at how the media makes it look like they are celebrating Lula's win over Bolsonaro. Because here's the thing. Lula wants to bring Brazil into communism. Yes, communism. Congratulations to Brazil. You are now going to become a communist country. If the white hats were in charge, why would they allow this type of thing to happen? It says the Department of Homeland Security is quietly broadening its efforts to curb speech it considers dangerous. An investigation by the Intercept has found years of internal DHS memos, emails, and documents obtained via leaks and ongoing lawsuits, as well as public documents, illustrated an expansive effort by the agency to influence tech platforms. They're trying to control the narrative. They're trying to control what you think. I remember when the DHS announced they had a new disinformation governance board. Remember this? And then the Biden said, okay, we suspended it. No, they didn't. Actually, it's still going today. Is that what the white hats do? Judge blocks Biden admin's attempts to shield FBI official from a deposition on social media censorship. The reason why the Biden administration wants to block the judge from hearing this is because that means they're involved as well. That means they're violating our constitutional rights. This is the grounds for impeachment. And nobody should be surprised about this one. I've spoken about this. I was a big fan of Michael Flynn's until I heard Lynn Wood release the recording of Michael Flynn stating he thought this QAnon movement was the CIA. I was so disappointed to hear that because he encourages it. He was telling people to follow him. He went out and he did the whole oath. He did the motto. He did the whole 9 yards. Why would a former director of intelligence encourage people to fall in line with the CIA operation unless he's compromised himself? But look, the digital general, how Trump ally Michael Flynn nurtured and profited from the QAnon conspiracy theory. The Intercept is one of the most credible news sources out there compared to all the other crap that's there. They're unbiased. There's reports on there you'll love and ones that you'll hate. But the one thing is they're thorough. And I've spoken about this myself. So when I heard the recording that Lynn Wood had of Michael Flynn, that the Q movement was a CIA operation and he'd been encouraging people to do it, I'm not a fan of Michael Flynn's, and I think he's full of crap and I think he's fake. So if the white hats are in charge, why is the FBI agency still politicized? Why hasn't it been broken up? Why hasn't it been fixed yet? You know what? These stories about these things going on and on. We've been hearing this now 6-7 years. That behind the scene, this is what's going on. Things are going to be better soon. Yeah, I know. If you keep throwing enough crap up against the wall, something's bound to stick. Homeland Security admits it tried to manufacture fake terrorists for Trump. So this news article is stating that people came forward from the Homeland Security stating that they wanted to fake and manufacture terrorists for Trump so Trump can win a 2020 election. And is that what you're trying to tell me? Is that Trump and the white hats were trying to fabricate issues with terrorists so that they can win an election? Why would this type of news come out if the white hats were in charge? Dan Crenshaw says election deniers privately admit the conspiracy to challenge Biden's legitimacy was always a lie. Dan Crenshaw. He came out a Trump supporter. Then he got elected. Then after that, he's flipped on Trump. And you have to ask yourself why. Well, he's a freaking globalist. This is the young globalist leaders. These people are all workers of the World Economic Forum. Tulsi Gabbard's the latest Republican darling. Everybody loves her now. Oh, she should be Trump's vice president. No, I don't trust her. There's pictures of her throwing up the Illuminati sign. Dan Crenshaw's right there. Zuckerberg, you shouldn't be surprised about that. Look at this. Megan Rapinoe, the soccer player. Okay, so this isn't surprising, but this is Maria Bartiromo. Wow. Macron, Pete Buttigieg. This is just a few of them. I did not expect Maria Bartiromo is huge surprise to me. So these people have all gone to the 5-year indoctrination classes of the young globalist leaders. These are part of the World Economic Forum, as you can see right here. Klaus Schwab, founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum, created the forum of young globalist leaders. These are the graduates. I don't trust any of these people, to be honest with you. So Dan Crenshaw saying something like this should not be surprising to you. And here we go. If indeed Trump and the White Hats were in charge, why would this type of headlines come out? Some QAnon believers are enraged by Trump's 2024 announcement. Okay, so I guess 45 and the White Hats aren't in charge. They want a new person in charge? Is that what it is? Have started ignoring Q jobs, but experts say the movement is fervent as ever. So, people are still supporting the 17-letter movement, but they want to oust Trump and bring in a new leader. Is that what you guys believe? Because that's what this news article says. And I know you're going to say, well, it's the media, man. They do that kind of stuff. Pimpy, you know they lie. Well, how can Trump be in charge with the White Hats? And then you're going to tell me the media is corrupt. Either they're in charge or they're not. Or does this all have to play out? And the biggest disappointment of them all, oh my God, I could not stop hearing from all of the 17-letter movement supporters. John Durham was going to expose all the corruption. He was going to arrest people. We were going to send people to Gitmo. Isn't that what we heard? Gitmo. Yeah, I've been hearing about that for the longest time, despite the fact that I've proven a million times that there's nobody over there in Gitmo. No celebrities, no politicians have been charged at Gitmo. John Durham's investigation has disclosed corruption, his own. The Barr-appointed special counsel was supposed to reveal the crime of the century. All he revealed was his own incompetence and worse. So let me tell you what my theory is. The Robert Mueller investigation with his corrupt FBI team, they weren't there to investigate whether or not Trump had colluded with any of the Russians. That's not what they were there for. They were there to clean up all of the dirt and corruption that they could have been linked to. The whole time was running around deleting this, moving that, getting their ducks in a row, because with Trump in office, I know they were scared shitless. And John Durham just came up right behind Mueller and continued to clean up. That's all that was. In the wake of special counsel John Durham's embarrassing second acquittal, I think he charged 3 people and 2 of them were acquitted. What happened to John Durham's going to bring down the corruption. He's going to clean the swamp. Bill Barr's going to clean the swamp. He's going to change everything. Jeff Sessions is going to come in. Christopher Wray's going to come in and clean everything. I remember all these things, man. Anyways, in the wake of special counsel John Durham's embarrassing second acquittal earlier this month, Durham's fans, from the Wall Street Journal edition page to former Attorney General Bill Barr to Donald Trump himself, had tried to justify Durham's work by claiming he disclosed corruption. Perhaps he did, but whose? Indeed, the Durham fiasco has disclosed, first and foremost, how much damage Republicans are willing to do in an attempt to deny the results of the Robert Mueller's own and special counsel investigation. First of all, this article is a lie. Robert Mueller himself came out and said there was no evidence whatsoever that Trump was linked to the Russians. So I don't know what they're saying, that attempt to deny the results of the Mueller investigation. There was nothing to deny, because Robert Mueller said himself they found nothing whatsoever. They found some things that were questionable, but there was no evidence at all that Trump done anything wrong. John Durham comes in to go after all of these FBI agents that were involved with this whole attempted coup. And what happened? Nothing whatsoever. And why is that? Well, because the White Hats are in charge. Isn't that right? So I keep getting sent these videos of these people claiming that the White Hats are in charge and that Trump's still the president, but yet there's no evidence whatsoever. As a matter of fact, there's evidence to the contrary. The World Economic Forum's The Great Reset continues to grow in some areas, although I'm watching several countries start to rise up against their governments, resisting this World Economic Forum's Great Reset. I think there's 17 in all right now. Surprisingly, there's uprisings in China, as well as in Russia, as well as in Iran, because those 3 countries are fighting the World Economic Forum's one world government. But I'm surprised that they're fighting the communism, considering they're trying to turn this world into one huge communist world. Sri Lanka, their people overthrew their government, demanding that they get away from the World Economic Forum, as well as the World Bank and IMF, which was a great demand. The guy said 107 said 80% of the population is awake. I'll agree with that, but what I'm saying is this. People are waking up because they're educating themselves. They're starting to pay attention. They're starting to get away from mainstream media. They're starting to read more, get involved more. Has nothing to do with white hats. Has nothing to do with Trump. If Trump and the White Hats were truly in charge, we would not be seeing any of this crap that's going on right now. All of that should have been fixed a long time ago. This 2022 election would have went a lot smoother with different results, in my opinion. Stop believing all that hype out there, people. Keep doing what we're doing, spreading real information, not misinformation, educating people about the real threat. The real threat are the corrupt governments around the world, the World Economic Forum and the Great Reset. Their ability to infiltrate governments around the world is a huge threat. I'm happy to see people waking up and rising up. But the World Economic Forum, make no doubt about it, they'll stop at nothing to get what they want to accomplish. They don't care about who dies or who lives. Part of their goal is to depopulate the world as much as possible. Trump's not in charge. No white hats are in charge. But there's no doubt there's a group of people trying to do all they could to stop this movement by the World Economic Forum. And that includes citizens around the world. But as soon as we are able to gain in one place, we lose in another. Brazil's new president wanting to move into communism and them showing you a video of them people cheering. No, that's not what they were cheering about. That comes from something totally different. But why should anybody be surprised about the news that we see? Anyways, you guys, you let me know what you think. You still think Trump's in charge? You still think Trump's the president? You still think the white hats are in charge? Then explain all those things to me. Are you going to try to tell me it's all part of the plan and I should keep my faith? Oh, my faith I never lost, but my faith is in the right place, and that's with God. Anyways, I look forward to your comments, and I will catch you later. I'm out.